Wait, hey.
Hi.
That is so cute! Discussion topic, soul fragments. Like frozen.
Except we're on the wrong sides of the screen on my screen, but that's okay. On your screen, we're probably on the right side of the screen. Are you on the left side or the right side?
My left.
You're on your left?
Yes.
Cool.
As I'm looking at it like this. I hate it. As I'm looking at it like this, I'm on the left side.
I'm on the left side on mine too. So it's correct on yours, wrong on mine. Anyway, hey.
Hey. Alright. So, we're going to use this live as like a QA/discussion, soul fragments, basics, all the things. And any question that you want to ask, we'll start off with soul fragments, and we'll kind of go from there.
Well, one of the things I think is interesting, since we kind of like developed this practice on our own, like from the ground up, we sometimes have confusing language in the way that soul fragments don't just have one definition for us. They are a multitude of different things, and we just know what we're talking about when we say it. So, like, there's soul fragments, which are like energy fragments, parts of your soul, residue left over, like skin, flakes or whatever. Or you could be a soul fragment of something, which is, basically the same thing, just on a different scale. Like, if you break it down. What do they look like to you? What do soul fragments look like to you?
Okay, so soul fragments look like... Thanks, brain. It looks like little... That's what it told me to say. Like, that's what it was like. It looks like little...
Cool.
Like, awesome. It looks like... actually, like, shards of stained glass.
Like if you yourself were a stained glass panel?
Yeah, and it shattered.
Okay.
And they all have different shapes now that I'm like really, really, really looking at the detail of it. And I guess every shape is kind of like a snowflake, as in snowflake. Each snowflake, no two snowflakes are the same.
Mm-hmm.
So no soul fragments will be the same coming from different things. So that's interesting. So they are pieces of you. And then Susan says, how do we explain soul fragments to others?
Okay, so this is really funny to me because someone was using the terminology soul fragments, and not just using soul fragments. They were literally using like our verbiage, the way that we talk, but it was someone who followed at least me. I don't remember if they followed Kate also. It was a while ago, like years ago. And they followed me, but never commented, never interacted or whatever. And they were talking about walking a client through quantum, whatever, the hypnosis one, whatever that's called. And they were getting soul fragments and like they were talking about their session. And so I was like, what? And I duetted it. And I was like, what are you even, like, this is, I didn't know them enough. I couldn't even like confront them or talk to them or whatever. And I was like, what do soul fragments mean to you? Like, what are you even talking about? And they said, they took like hours to respond, by the way. And then they responded with, when I'm in meditation and I'm on a ravine, I was in a ravine and my, mother that passed away?
Dead aunt or something?
Somebody was an angel and came across the ravine and handed me the trauma of the soul fragments.
And they told me what it was.
And I was like, that's not what soul fragments are at all. At all. And it was very interesting because it was like, wow, people do not know. And it'd be one thing if like we all had a different interpretation or we used a different language and we were all describing the same thing, but no.
It's not even that. And the most infuriating part is they were on their page trying to tell other people how to, well, it was like handle something about soul fry. I can't remember what it was, but they were trying to teach somebody else something that they didn't know. And I was like, oh my fucking God.
That's the only part that we really have, like, the biggest issue with. I mean, yeah, it sucks when someone takes something that you've worked from the ground up. Like, that sucks. But the part that we had the issue with is if someone needs help. I know we're kind of straying off the topic a little bit, Susan, but I guess needed to talk about this. If someone needs help and the person that they're going to, that they're entrusting their soul, their energy, their human vessel, their life with, they're going to this person because they think they have the expertise and this person is not able to help them. That's the infuriating part for us. Like,
and bullshitting them. This person was actively like spinning them in a circle and not answering their question.
We have people that we work with, like in the guided adventures and stuff, and they help their friends, family members. They might even help some clients with some of the techniques they've learned, but they know what they're doing. They know how to navigate it. They know how to look and see. But like when they use, like soul fragment, okay, I get it. Soul fragment, that's a common, like that could be a spiritual term. We didn't make up the phrase soul fragment. Like that didn't come from us, but like, a different topic, like if they were to say grounding straps, because they heard us say it. That's one that we're just like, okay, what the fuck is it?
And I've seen that a few times, people being like,
baklava healing.
Mm-hmm.
Baklava healing, and it's like, really? Kate's baklava healing? But you took out Kate, so what does baklava healing do? What does that do?
What's a baklava? It's the thing they wear over their head, right? The mask? Sorry. But that's basically it, though. That's what they would say. There's no action behind it, therefore they don't know how to find it. They didn't do anything, no work to find it, so therefore they don't know the answer because they don't have it. It's regurgitated.
That's the part that's bothersome to us. Not necessarily someone copying us, but someone. Like, yeah, that. Anyway, back to the topic of soul fragment. How would you, we described how not to describe it. It's basically, for me, like anything that you touch or this interaction, like this interaction right now that all of us are having, that are like bypassing in the comments, just on their For You page, seeing if they want to watch or not, watching from the sidelines, us interacting, we are all like tossing confetti of soul fragments into this moment. This is a moment that exists on the timeline. If we ask our team to return soul fragments from this moment, they can find it because it exists. We are all throwing soul fragments in. So when Kate says every night or every time we have a guided adventure or live, she says disconnect, don't forget to disconnect. It's detangling all of your energy and pulling it back and making sure you're not taking anybody's with you, but there's still soul fragments of that moment. So how does that work exactly? Like for me, I know how it works, but how do you look at it? Like how do you see it?
Which part?
The soul fragments that when we disconnect, we pull back and take with us, and the soul fragments that are like embedded in the moment.
Oh.
That aren't like, it's not like wasted, it's just like dead energy, but it's not energy because it's a timeline energy.
Yeah, so that kind of looks like fragments of the happening, if that makes sense. So I guess fragments in the moment is like, let's say that it's a couch. Is that the best way to put it?
Just pop my ankle.
Okay, and then it's like the fragments of the couch, the memory is there. And like if you wanted to heal that memory, then that's the part that would get healed, is the embedded fragments. I feel silly because I don't feel like I'm explaining what I'm seeing very well.
I'm going to concur. I don't think you are either.
Okay.
I'm like couch, and then you're like imprints, and I'm like the imprints on the floor. The... Do you want you and me to sit on your couch for this analogy?
To sit on the fragmented couch?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay.
It's just sitting here. We're literally just sitting here.
On the fragmented couch. Okay. So the question is, how can you tell the difference between like fragments that you can't move, basically, and fragments that you can move? Or the fragments that can be released?
Well, actually more like the fragments that you release that you pull back into you, like when you're detangling your energy based on the fragments that are purposefully like stamped because of it being a moment in time that exists.
Okay. So
like as a seer, what does it look like?
It looks like a bunch of fragments that can't move. It looks like a bunch of cracked. Actually, it's not stained glass. They're solid, but they're cracked.
The ones in time?
Yes. So I'm just going to use the memory of my living room. Everything is piece parts when you look really close, but the fragments are not see-through. So those will be staying. And then the fragments that are like pieces of me, let's say like in this memory, I am sitting on the couch and watching a staticky TV. Then the fragments of me that are going to be on the couch are going to be stained glass looking. So like they call it translucent. Mm-hmm. Translucent with my colors in them. And then the fact that I'm watching the TV, if I were to release Soul Fragments to the TV, it'd be the same thing. My fragments are all over the TV, but they're translucent and in my stained glass colors. So if I were to say like, release soul fragments with this moment and then cleanse and purify them. And basically you are scrubbing clean, and what mine looks like is, it looks like MEK, which is a chemical that cleans aircraft. So like, very, 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 very potent and powerful. And it looks like that blasts through them. It doesn't even like move through them. It just kind of like flashes through them.
So when we're talking about soul fragments, there's a couple of different ways we talk about it. What we were trying to explain there, why is your name missing? So do the soul fragments then just disappear after that? No. We've looked at like when we wrap them in, clarity and love, light, forgiveness, and cleanse and purify them, and divine justice and stuff, they get wrapped in, God, I feel like this is all over the place. Okay. If I knocked over a glass of water, and it was traumatic. It was a loud crash. There was glass everywhere. It was just a very, very hostile environment. And I was like, oh, I want to return soul fragments, release soul fragments with that. Cause I have scared the people in the room. It was a really loud noise. Maybe there was like water splashing on them, triggered a different, soul fragment, like hit and activated a trauma soul fragment in themselves that they had from something else. And I was like, oh shit, I feel really bad about this. When I say release and remove all soul fragments from this, I'm talking about the trauma, like that hyper scared, the water falling over, the guilt and the shame, the like amplified soul fragments of that moment that belong to all the people that were involved when that water glass got knocked over. And then I'm wrapping them in divine justice, love, light, and forgiveness, clarity or cleanse and purify them, it's not wrapping each individual fragment in all of those. It's wrapping each one in the one they're supposed to be wrapped in. So like, I'm going to try to do seer talk, but not very good. One would be like blue cellophane. One would be like yellow cellophane, but it's not. It's like it's wrapped like a gift almost, and then returned to the person. And we have it set up to where we don't force anything on anybody else. So like all the soul fragments of ours are going to get returned and embedded into us like they're supposed to be. And all the ones that belong to someone else, they're kind of just like hanging around them for them to receive them. Did that make any sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep. They kind of like float around their aura basically.
Okay. Do you have any healings for grief, my fiancés? Yeah, you're more than welcome to look on our pages for any healings. Kate has hers labeled. We've got stuff on all of our platforms, but we're working on talking about soul fragments tonight. Very sorry that your fiancé's father passed away. I'm sorry, we're just not talking on that topic at this time. But we do have lots to help you with that on our pages.
Marjorie says, "Oh, I like the individual returns conducive to what it needs."
Yeah. Thank you for understanding. Sorry. You know, sometimes we have open floor. Tonight's just not one of those nights for us.
I'm trying to think of what's some of the other bullshit that I've heard about soul fragments. Shattered. That the soul fragments are shattered, and it's like that's what soul fragments are.
Well, I remember when I first started to like figure out soul fragments, and I heard about it in like from somebody who like that terminology or fragmented soul or whatever. I heard about it from somebody who couldn't really explain it. It wasn't till Kate and I started working together to where I really got a grasp on like what it is and how it works. Maybe like right before I started to like figure it out on my own. But like really coming into the awareness of it all was more when you and I started to work together. But where the fuck was I going with that? A lot of people think that it's like, when I first started hearing about it, I was like, well, why can't we just get all of our soul fragments back at once? Like, why can't we just release and return all of our soul fragments from everywhere and return them to us? Like, this seems really silly. And then I realized that you have to gain clarity on a moment. You know, there's like that thing they talk about in physics where it's like when something comes into awareness, that's when it exists. Well, when you address it and you gain clarity on that traumatic event or that happy event or that event in general, you can then be like, oh, that's me. I was involved in that. I would like that stuff back. And that has a lot to do with the fact that we had human amnesia. That was a big one for me because I really did. I was like, why can't we just fucking return all the soul fragments? And also I was like, why can't we just be whole? I want to be whole inside myself. And it's like, soul fragments are just like pieces of skin or dust. Like,
it's like a coating.
You can,
you can
return soul fragments every day. And you're never going to be like whole inside your vessel. And then there was more understanding that came with that when we started figuring out oversouls and all of that shit. But when you were looking at soul fragments, like, do you remember when you first heard it or came across it, or like what we were doing or what you were doing on your own, or?
Soul fragments. I know that me and you were talking, and we were just talking about what they were, and then wrapping them and stuff. Like, we were dissecting everything, wrapping them and stuff. What does that do?
You want to go into that?
Which part?
Like, what do they look like when you wrap them in different things?
Oh,
as a seer.
So each one as a seer and the type of seeing that I do, each thing is a color. So like love, light, forgiveness is it's like a ribbon of light, if that makes any sense. So because everything looks like a color, like all healing looks like a color, or all words look like a color. It's like love is gonna be like a silvery color, and it's only this type of love is this color. Like if it's different type of love, then it's different color. And then light is like a silvery yellow, and then forgiveness is like a sparkly purple. But it's only when it's said in this context.
Now, what if we were to return soul fragments without wrapping them in anything?
They all carry this like dust. I guess it would be like wiping off a couch, wiping off a desk, and then just kind of like moving it to the floor.
Looks like when you said wiping off a desk, I was like, yes, and then licking the towel.
Absolutely licking the towel, yes.
They're just putting them back all dusty and shit.
Yeah, and it looks like when you do that, it stands on top of the other ones instead of like, what's it called?
Integrating
in. It looks like it stands on top of the other ones because it has
like,
a layer of shit on it.
You don't have to wrap it in stuff. We were wrapping them in like love, light, forgiveness, divine justice, and all of that because we just like we're there. Might as well do some extra cleanup shit. Like that's basically why we do that. Why we add that extra verbiage is because like it's kind of like when we go into a past life and we're inside a hospital or school. It's like, well, let's fucking clean this out while we're in here. We're already here. Fucking might as well. So that's why we add that extra stuff. We started to add the divine justice because one, people were having like an issue with just love, light, and forgiveness when it was a traumatic event that happened to them. And it was like, well, no, it's like forgiveness for yourself and love and light for yourself. Like you're not doing that for the other person. It's around the soul fragment that belongs to you. But we make so many healings and so many videos that we just started adding that to the verbiage. But it makes it's a little convoluted because divine justice could be its own other topic because it's not what you like, not what I want to say, not what you guys think it is, not what the majority of you think it is.
A lot of people think it's like fucking somebody else up. Like, yeah, they're gonna get theirs, and it's like that's not what divine justice is.
We deliver divine justice to ourselves. Divine justice is just your just desserts. You get what's coming to you. You like, I want what's coming to me. I want my just desserts.
When I need clarity, that's the first thing I do. So I don't know. It super makes sense to me. It has nothing to do with like, I don't know, beating someone's ass. But I feel like that's what a lot of people think it is because they're like, I delivered divine justice to it. Like, I did it.
Like, okay, cool. So what does it look like if you... Yeah, like have the day you deserve on a larger scale. Yeah. It gives like a wake-up call, even. Kiyomi Kunt said, and divine justice means like the needed and what's right for whatever it is. Yep.
Yes. So like if it's clarity and that's their fucking justice, they're gonna get some clarity.
Like if they're trying to hide from their own whatever or trying, nope, sorry, you're gonna figure it out. Today is the day. What about soul fragments of an oversoul? I think it's really interesting because we talk about oversouls a lot. And there's oversoul overlaps, which is really interesting. Kind of like how you guys are familiar with, if you look at your wheel chart for astrology, how you have different houses and different things. When Kate looks at the oversoul pie chart, it's a bunch of different colors, but they sometimes overlap, kind of like, if you mix blue and yellow, it makes green. They overlap sometimes. But it's not a flat wheel for her, right? It's like...
So it was a 3D wheel, and they overlapped like a pizza pie, and then they would overlap a little bit. And then one day after a class, I updated and upgraded the whole thing, the oversouls, just the oversouls, and it turned into like a cylinder, like a 3D cylinder, and they all overlapped. Not so much to where they became convoluted, but like, let's say I don't know what's on the opposite end of the spectrum. Red and blue. Let's say because they were on opposite ends of the charts, they couldn't overlap. Only blue and purple could because they're right next to each other. It made it to where they could find more of themselves.
Oh, like a cone of paper.
Okay, that makes sense.
Where it would just go, like it could keep twirling in on itself if it needed to.
It looks like that sand art a little bit. Yeah. Where the cylinder and that's what it looks like to me now.
Like Kate and I have discovered that we're part of, like, I don't know, one we discovered recently, we're both a part of the Princess and the Pea storyline. And that was just weird. But usually when that shows up, we'll be like an ear or an elbow, if we look at it in human terms, like that part of the fragment of that oversoul.
It's funny how that will work. So what, soul fragments of an entire oversoul? Is that what you were saying?
Soul fragments of an oversoul really fucked me up too when I was doing past life stuff, because I would work with someone and they were part of, like, say, Anubis, and then I would be talking to a friend of mine that did past life work, and she's like, yeah, I worked with Anubis today, and I was like, how the fuck is that possible? Because I worked with Anubis. Like, I already found out who that is. So and they would be like, well, I don't know what to tell you, sis. Like, I walked through it. Like, we would both be like, no, I'm right. Because we had the experience. We walked it through. We didn't at least I didn't understand oversouls at that time. And it was really confusing to me. And I remember people that did past life stuff were, they would be like, Kat, you just don't always tell, like, source is just not giving you all the information. Like, you're only do you remember that? Do you remember that?
Whenever people were telling you that
you're only getting half the information,
you're not correct or something like that.
Yeah. And because, like, this was before merging timelines too. So, like, I'd be working with a client on Garden of Eden, and they would too, and it wouldn't match up because they were on different timelines and they weren't merged together yet. And they'd just be like, they couldn't possibly be wrong. I was like, I don't care what timeline we're on. As long as it's the most healed timeline, I don't give a fuck who heals it.
They would say whatever happened and stuff like that. And then you'd be like, but I just worked with this person and then this happened. And I'm like, that... they're both happening.
Yeah. Kate would look at it and be like, I mean, like, you're both, in so many words, like, you're both pretty. You're both right. I don't know.
Like, they're
what
both
to
there.
Tell you.
They're both there. This one's over here and this one's layered on that. Like,
but then we discovered, like, the big oversoul thing, like, multiple people are a part of these deities and gods and stuff. Like, there's only 12 oversouls. So you can be a soul fragment of different things. I don't know that name.
What about
Medjed? What do you know about? Like, are you a part of them? I remember somebody mad at me because they said to think that all of that, like, that the big oversoul is in one human body is really weird to me. And it's also weird when people say that they were at the beginning of time and creating it when there is no beginning of time, and that they're the only ones. And it's like, did you look around? Because everybody was there. Are you trying to see who this Medjed thing is? Because you're looking.
Yeah. And I'm like, maybe it's the one with the dog face, but because there's like 50 of those.
Oh.
He is my spirit guide.
I don't study that, like, I don't study that stuff. So if he's your spirit guide, did you call him in, or did you... I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say here.
Like, Medjed from Egypt, did you summon them? Or did they come to you? Or who is this? Who is Medjed? I know you said he's your spirit guide. Is he in mythology somewhere? Or did he come to you and say, hi, my name is Medjed?
So, like, the best way for me to explain it, like, my 16-year-old Chris, he is a part of Medusa. He's not the only person that's a part of Medusa. He is part of Medusa. He's a soul fragment of Medusa. But Medusa is not on my spirit team. But my son Chris is. But if I look far enough, if I needed to, I could get Medusa's help or whatever, because it's part of my son's part of that oversoul. Does that make any sense at all when it comes to soul fragments like that?
It's like a ghost shape with legs from Google. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I want to talk about soul fragments and like seeing if somebody did something or
like as a truth gauge?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yesterday, here's the most recent example. Yesterday, I kept like falling asleep at work. I was like, Kat, I cannot figure this out. But fucking, I fell asleep, and I don't understand how.
Sorry.
But fucking, and I don't understand how. It's really odd. It just doesn't make sense because I'm not tired at work. And so she was like, all right, so release soul fragments with the person, because it's got to be someone from work. We had already done a bunch of work on this. And so I was like, okay, this person. And mine feels like a drop. So what you would say is like, I'm trying to think of one that everybody could do. Spirit, if it's in my highest good, please release.
You would repeat after her.
Oh, yes. Guys, repeat this. I do this so much. Okay. Spirit, if it's in my highest good, please release soul fragments with me eating a black toenail this morning.
Gross.
Did anyone feel a yes? If so, leave this live right now. No, I'm kidding. Just gonna do that just in case. Okay. Did everyone like see what that felt like? Feel what that felt like? See the signs? Well, Marjorie, I don't want to be the judge of that. Okay.
Kiyomi Kunt says, mine feels like pushing against a wall and also not a closed off feeling.
Okay. So that's going to be y'all's no, or did not happen. So not necessarily no, but like did not happen, this is not real, whatever. And then whatever you ate today, spirit, if it's in my highest good, like say, spirit, if it's in my highest good, please release soul fragments with me. Eating a turkey protein snack today. Some people might get sound effects. Some people might see something, feel something, hear something. It could be any of your channelings.
Doing a fact check with soul fragments comes in really handy when, like, one, if someone's trying to help you figure something out, like if Kate was trying to figure something out and I said, oh, I think it's that guy Charles from your work. And she's like, I don't really think it is. But I mean, if you say so, and instead of her just being like, Kat says it's Charles, yes, she does her own fact checking and she'll release soul fragments. She'll be like, that's not quite right. And that helps us a lot. It also helps when you're getting a reading from someone on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, or a session, and they put their own trauma or bias on something. Like there's plenty of healers that'll say that you were abused when you were a child. And sometimes you might have been, but a lot of times they were. And so they're kind of like putting that on you. And if you can't remember, they'll just say, well, you have lapse in memory from that trauma. You must have like shoved it down. And returning soul fragments helps a lot because your team's pretty much has no bias to that. They will go to the moment of where that abuse happened and they can release soul fragments for you to investigate further. So Like, if any of you have been told that, using the same example that Kate did, you can say, like, if anybody told you that you had any kind of abuse, but you don't remember having it, or if you did have abuse when you were younger, and you do remember it happening, either way, one will feel movement, one will not. So you just say, if it's in my highest good, please specifically release soul fragments from abuse happening in my younger years. I'm going to have to narrow it down to a different phrase because abuse is anything.
Yeah.
You should all feel movement on that one. What, essayed?
Yeah, I guess like a touching, but that's different too because people were spanked and shit.
Right.
Yeah, essaying. It would probably be the best one.
Okay, I didn't want to. All right, so if you were not ever, you will say, oh, violation. Well, yeah, but some people might feel like violation was being cut off every time they spoke too. So
Or
it's like
touch
people's
on the
teams are
shoulder.
extremely specific.
Or like a touch on the shoulder, or touch anywhere.
Yeah.
Is
So you say, please, hey team or spirit, please specifically release soul fragments with me being essayed when I was a young child. And then if you feel no movement or see no movement and you've been told that you have, your team's basically like, where there's no time and space where this happened. There's nothing to move. Just like with the black toenail that Kate said, none of us ate a black toenail, so our teams are just like, no, like I don't know where to go. But if it did happen, like if you drank water today, please release soul fragments specifically with if I drank water today. And a good portion of you will feel movement for your yes. What does your yes look like?
it looks. It reminds me of the Alaskan bullworm from SpongeBob opening its mouth, because it's like a roller coaster, but it kind of looks like a mouth, but it's not a mouth, but it's like a. It's really noticeable. And then when it's a no, it's a very large drop. It's like a. So
What, like a roller coaster drop also?
yeah, but it's like a deep drop. That way it's like a, just in case I can't see it, if I wanted to, I could feel it.
I have to figure out what my feelers do in lots of different cases. So like, I know that I didn't eat a black toenail for breakfast. So when Kate said that, I started to feel movement. If you watch back on the live, you can see me kind of going up. But mine wasn't soul fragments for me feeling it. My feelers were going out to feel all of you guys. So I have to like differentiate between that. How do you differentiate between like what you see as your soul fragments or like a client's?
I hold it close to me. I'll be like this, like the answers are close, and then if they're not mine, the answers are far.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The answers are over there if they're not mine, and the answers are right here if they're mine.
Did you have to set it up that way, or like that's what you naturally like installed in yourself?
Yeah.
How did you figure out that was the case? You just know yourself really well?
I will say that I have always known to have a strong sense of self because I was so gaslit growing up. I had to naturally become good at that, naturally. I had to forcefully become good at that.
Of like seeing what's true and what's not?
Yes. So I'm very, very good at that. So I guess it is something I developed. So that's kind of like my system and how it's so quick because I've been doing it my whole life. And to be told almost every day, no, that's not true. No, that's not true. No, that's not true. And it's like you just become good at it. Like, it's like, oh, that sucks for you, not for me. Anyway.
Sometimes Kate will get the like, no, like when someone will be like, no, that's not true, and she's looking right at it, it's because they have trauma, their own trauma on stuff, and they can't see what she's seeing. So that's always interesting when that happens, because she'll be like, you are looking right at it. I don't. What do you mean? And it'll like sometimes look like a lie. She did have to do adjustments so she could tell like if they were purposefully lying or if it was like trauma shit that was in their way.
Or shit, sometimes it's like a bleed over too.
Yeah,
there's so
from
many
like a
things
different
that
life.
Mm-hmm.
Marjorie said, do we ask for soul's permission if we ask this for other people? It depends on your own personal morals and ethics. When it comes to soul fragments, we're not touching anybody. We're touching soul fragments. It's kind of like our personal morals and ethics. I mean, I feel like it is. Like our own little way of having a loophole. Like everything on this planet is made out of 12 over souls. But if we were to do something with the glass, the sand and the fire and the molecules that make this glass, this is part of an oversoul. But for us, we are working with a glass. It doesn't have feelings in that way. It might have a personality. You can ask it questions, but it doesn't have feelings. I guess that's kind of like our baseline, right?
Yeah.
We had to like figure that out too. What we were okay with like what soul fragments we were okay with messing with and which ones we were not. And when it came to like molecules and moving them and then like what do we move and what do we basically move the energy for the people that can move them in the physical, like which way do we go about that?
And then also the person's team is going to decide regardless anyway. So like how you guys are really in touch with your teams and me and Kat are really in touch with our teams, it's not necessarily going to be like an auto decide because we have programmed and fine-tuned our teams. But like you're saying, like if we were to be like return soul fragments, you know, if souls consent and teams allow, their team knows their person. That's
why like that whole thing of like if it's in my highest good or if soul consents, you could say any of mine and Kate's healings and everybody's team, even if they don't know us or don't like us, their teams will be like, absolutely. I mean, just because we're very respectful, we put in so much time and work in it.
And fine-tune the fuck out of them.
Yes, we were very, 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 very careful and like figuring all of it out. Whit says, I always struggle with feeling soul fragments. Why do you think that you are supposed to feel them?
Yeah, you're primarily a seer, Whit. We do telekinesis on the daily.
We move stuff all the time. We move stuff long distances. We don't, like, I don't know. Actually, when we're talking about these soul fragments, that's a form of telekinesis as well. Like we're grabbing molecular structures from things and moving them. That is telekinesis.
Okay, that's something to talk about with. She says, I know, but I want to feel it, LOL. Then program it to feel it. And when you do this, say exactly how you want to feel it.
Girl, I'm just saying, I wanted to see real bad until I did. I didn't like it. There was a reason. I'm just saying.
It looks like your team is wanting to fill up your chest when you're doing that. And I just know you have the anxieties. And I worry about that. But it's going to be like, all right, soul fragments, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I'm getting horrible anxiety. What is this?
Yeah, but if she knew that it was soul fragments, then it wouldn't be like, it would be like you could differentiate what was anxiety and what wasn't, you know?
So whenever you're fine-tuning this Wit, I feel like you need to pay extra special attention to that. Like whenever you're like, all right, I want to feel this and this, and I want it to feel like blah, blah, blah.
So tell your team right now, Wit, say like for experimental purposes, because maybe you do feel it. Like Kate said, maybe you don't know that you are because you didn't know it was filling up your chest. So say, hey team, for experimental purposes, for this one time, for me to try it out, please make it so I feel the soul fragments of this answer. And then test it with like your name. So say, if it's in my highest good, please release soul fragments specifically with my name being. And then what does it feel like? Also, there's a difference when we use soul fragments as a like gauge to tell like what's true and what's not. It's very different than when we're energy flowing inward, filling up your chest. Weird.
Yeah, it feels like air, like you're taking a breath of air through your chest.
Like,
yeah. Like, okay.
She said, yes, exactly. There's a big difference for us of when we release soul fragments to see if something is true, we just do this. We go like this with the soul fragments. When we're releasing soul fragments from a moment because we're like cleaning them up and returning them, so like it's a traumatic event or it's a really excited event or whatever the case may be, or like we want to pull the soul fragments from our old home because we moved or a new car or whatever. When we pull soul fragments that way, when we're pulling it from like trying to return it to center, we release them and then we wrap them and then we return them. When we're fact checking, we're just releasing them and then they go right back to the moment. We're not putting them anywhere. You can after, though. What are you looking at, Kate?
I started thinking about things to throw away. So I wonder if you are, like, you being so focused on releasing soul fragments with is because there's dead energy in your house. Like, I know you have that dog, but I think stuff on the walls, I think there's a lot of dead energy with stuff on the walls. But release soul fragments with the whatever on the wall to see if it's dead or if it's actually serving you or if you need to heal something with it.
Cody, we don't mind having a conversation with you, but you're not talking to us about our discussion topic. You want to talk about yourself, and that's totally fine. Sometimes we have an availability for a guest to join us and we can walk them through and do the things. I think it's really cool that you're using telekinesis to make stuff and do the things. We think it's awesome. It's just not on topic with what we're talking about. And that's why we just kind of aren't really getting into what you're discussing on. But, you know, it's really awesome. I think if you know stuff about it, you should absolutely make videos on it, tell people how to do it. I think that's rad. Wit said, reminded me of dead skin dandruff with the walls.
Okay. Well, yeah, rebirth, regrow then, and dust off healings and shit, dead skin healings.
Just releasing soul fragments with the topic will absolutely guide us to like the next thing that we need to do to heal. Releasing soul fragments is a really big thing. We have it already embedded in some of our biggest healings. We have it embedded in our close-up / sign-offs that Kate does at the end of all of her healings, and they're posted on her page. We have them in the closing statements. We have them in the house cleanse. We have them in the spirit team revamp. Spirit Guide revamp healing that's pinned. It's a huge, like, soul fragments. If you can grasp the understanding of soul fragments and how to use them, like,
ooh, I got an example.
It'll be huge for you.
So at work there are a lot of older people that are in my department, and so they'll like fall asleep sometimes in the chairs because they're a lot older. They be doing some sleeping, and like I had to, one of them's out and I had to sit in their chair and noticed that I was being pulled down. And I was like, what the
Of all the soul fragments.
So I released soul fragments from that chair, popped right up.
Yeah. So like, even if you're like, if it's not somebody else's, like if you had a depressed moment and you're like, all I fucking want to do is sit on this damn couch, lay on this couch for days and bed rot on this couch and watch movies. And then like, you know, a couple weeks later, you're like, I don't know why every time I try to watch a movie on this fucking couch, I get pulled to sleep. I don't fucking know why. Release soul fragments from the fucking couch. Shit, we release soul fragments from our beds.
Mm-hmm. And same thing when I inherited an office. I had to release soul fragments with the office and the carpet and the everything that happened in that office with the previous guy. Like, it's super helpful and it makes a lot of sense.
I wouldn't just release it though. I would wrap it and return it to rightful owners though when you're doing that. Because you're not just trying to like fact check, is this if you were just trying to fact check it, if you were like, is release soul fragments with this chair making me sleepy, then that would be fact checking with soul fragments. But if you were like, okay, it is this chair, release soul fragments, wrap them in divine justice of light and forgiveness, cleanse and purify them, return them to the rightful owners, it will release them completely from the chair and not go back. And then like Kate said, she'd, you know, pop right up, get back to work.
Whit said I released soul fragments to the dentist office yesterday because of fear. Well, like you did a little clean off, like a clean out.
Oh, because everybody that goes to the dentist has fear? Or not everybody, but a lot of people? That makes sense. Like if you're getting anxiety and you're like, this isn't mine, releasing soul fragments from the dentist office makes sense. Kate releases soul fragments from mirrors, reflective surfaces. Why don't you talk about that, like releasing it from mirrors at work and stuff?
Okay, so I noticed that whenever I would leave home, I'd be like, hell yeah, I look good as fuck, just like normal. I look like Kate. Hell yeah, look at Kate being Kate. And then as soon as I get to work, I'd be like, oh my fucking God, I like left the house looking like this with my shirtin'. Couldn't figure out what it was, like, nothing in specific, but it was just like horrible looking. Look at that. And so this lasted for about a week, and my husband was like, you know, I find it really weird that you'll leave the house looking just fine, and you'll be like, yeah, I'm looking just fine, whatever. And then you go to work and you're not okay. And then I was like, you're right. So that means it has to be at work. It's the fucking people at work talking to the damn mirror. Their own self-image. So releasing soul fragments with the mirror and any reflective surface. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, Kate, you're Katen. Look at you. Hell yeah.
Just in case you guys didn't know, Kate's husband is Australian. I Am Universe said LMAO, the accent. It was accurate. That was an accurate accent.
He be Australian.
There's another part when you're falling asleep watching movies, though. That's a two-factor. It could be all the energy that's in your couch, like that's pulling you down, and it also could be because the storyline that you're watching, you're a soul fragment of that oversoul. And you would need to merge in with that version of you and exchange you information. So with everything being a channeled message, TV shows, art, music, everything is a channeled message. Figuring out that you're a soul fragment of an oversoul, basically is like, if they, you know how, like, have you ever watched a movie with your family or whatever, or friends, and you're like, oh my God, that character's so them coded. Or, like, I know that Gen Z, maybe Gen Alpha too, maybe millennials, I don't fucking know, but they have a thing called My Kins, and it's like Kin, and it's like characters that are them, basically. Like, they're not just comfort characters, but characters that basically have bits of their personality. You would merge in with those characters because it's a different reality. It's a different timeline that has a storyline of you. And there's only 12 oversouls. And you merge in with them because you can only merge in with things you're a part of, exchange you information, calibrate, disconnect, anchor back in, and that'll wake you up too. Because your soul is going down to heal the thing that you're watching and remembering on the screen or in the song. Mariah said, how do you heal your relationship with food, body image, and learn consistency? Kate has a lot of videos on this. All of her stuff is labeled on her page. We would love to do that as a topic sometime. We're gonna, maybe do this once or twice more if we feel called to. But this one specifically was on Soul Fragments. We've got lots of information. You can actually search TikTok and search Captain Kate, like food or body or whatever, and a lot of her stuff will pop up. Or Cat and Boots 138, food, relationship, body, and a lot of stuff will pop up. Is another way to find it. And I've got playlists and her stuff's labeled.
So the relationship with food and body image. You can also be like, hey, is the release Soul Fragments with the reason why I'm gaining weight being about food?
Mariah, I don't know if you heard Kate. She started talking to you.
Anybody on this live, I know there's a lot of people out there with food issues. So, I will not shut the fuck up.
She's not talking to you. She's talking to whoever is, making her cough.
And so, the releasing Soul Fragments with it being about food, because you were talking about food and relationship with it. So, say, Spirit, if it's in my highest good, please release Soul Fragments with my weight issues being about food.
Did you feel any movement? Or see any movement?
Okay. Once you answer, I'll give you another prompt.
A lot of movement for you in the head, though, I Am Universes. It's because it's your trauma and bias of it in your head. Mariah said, yes, I felt movement in my stomach, but also felt some fear about it.
Are you saying that there is food in your stomach? Because, the map is not mapping. Yes, I felt movement in my stomach, but also felt fear about it. It seems, the reason why I'm asking like this is because it seems like it's somebody else telling you to be this way. So, Spirit, if it's in my highest good, please release Soul Fragments with my weight issue being related to someone outside of me, like someone else.
When you guys are starting this, using the soul fragment method to test things, yes and no, I highly, highly, highly recommend removing your trauma and bias before you ask the question. So you would ask your team, please remove all trauma and bias from this question, then ask the soul fragment question.
And if you know you're still not getting a clear read, even after you do that, you need to go to the most impactful point. You can heal about the specific trauma and bias.
Mariah said, I could feel my heart do something with that one. I think it does come from someone else.
It looks like a tether. It looks like a string, a cord. It's not a cord, it's definitely like a tether.
I would we're about out of time for this one, but Mariah, just to not leave you hanging like that, if you ask your team what the most impactful point you can heal about this tether, or ask them to show you or tell you or help guide you to who it is and why that tether is there, then you can start, removing it and unhooking it. You can remove it and unhook it if you want to and return it to its rightful owners and remove hardware. But to get clarity on why it happened, how you let it happen, and how you can keep it from happening again. And then you can address your actual relationship with weight and food and body image when you're untethered from someone else putting their own stuff on you. You know what I mean? Hope that makes sense.
Hell yeah.
What do you think, Kate? That was about it for that one. Mariah says, I feel like it connects to my mom or my eternal line. Thank you, and I'll check out Kate's vids. Awesome. And they said, yes, it makes sense.
Okay. I got that it was mom too, but I feel like I always get that answer, so I didn't want to say it again, and it's like, yep.
You don't always. It's just more typical with people born with, yeah.
Okay. Hey. All right. I recommend doing the closing statements on Kat's page and the close-up/sign-offs on my page, because this was still
You did
healing.
a lot.
Yeah.
You guys, like, you did a lot. Like, you can even say, please release Soul Fragments specifically with what I healed while watching this live. It's a lot. Okay. Well, thanks. Thanks for chatting.
This was fun.
All right.
Fun. Don't forget to disconnect.
Bye, guys.
Bye.